top-level goals, mid-level goals, and low-level goals, okay? Now, one of the things I've talked about in the past, if you have a chance to read the 4 Disciplines of Execution, another really great book. They talk about the difference between lag measures and lead measures, and I'll kind of address that here in just a minute. Again, this is a very kind of January-esque type teaching, but once you decide whatever it is, whether it's real estate or something else, that becomes your top-level goal. Your top-level goal should be something that's written in ink, okay? And if you decide, I want to be a successful real estate investor, I have hope, I've heard all these other people that are successful, I know I can do it if I just stick with it, I have this belief that it does good, I know there's all these other things, I'm gonna practice at it, then if that's the decision you make, it becomes the top level goal, it's written in ink, and it is not changing for the rest of your life. Okay? Until you come up with that kind of resolve that this is what you want to do, you probably won't be successful at it. Okay? So that is step 1. You got to put it as your top level goal. And then from the top level goal that is written in ink, you create some mid-level goals that you're going to work on that would make you a successful real estate investor. Okay? Go to the next slide. I'm going to tell you how to pick those goals. A lot of us within real estate, okay, I'm going to give you Buffett's 5-25 rule. Warren Buffett one time sat down, some of you guys have maybe heard this story before, but he was flying, he has a private, obviously has private jets, he actually owns net jets, but before that, he just owned a private jet, he had a private pilot, and he asked that pilot one time, do you have any aspirations to do anything other than just flying? Do you have side hustles? Do you have other things you want to do? He's like, yes, I got a ton of other things I want to do. He goes, okay, well, let me give you some advice. This is my 5-25 rule for being successful. He says, I operate with it in my own life, right? To write down your top 25 goals. Okay. Now, what happens is when you write down 25 goals, you'll find out they're not all top level goals, right? It's not like I want to be a famous musician and I want to, win the Kentucky Derby and I want to be an NBA champion and I want to be a real estate investor. And like it's usually you have your top level goal and then the other ones are a mix of personal and professional. Okay? In order to be successful, you got to take those 25 goals that you have, whether it's personal or professional, and you got to circle the 5 most important. Okay? And once you've circled the 5 most important, you avoid the other 20 at all costs. Okay? And again, this goes to the problem that time and energy are limited. And yet somehow we have a hard time accepting that fact. And so we try to dabble in a lot of things and we try to achieve way too much. And ultimately, as I said before, we become very, very marginal at a lot of things and never great at anything. Okay? So when you write out these 25 goals, separate your personal and your business, circle those 3 to 5 top business things that you want to accomplish as a real estate investor, and those, go back to the previous slide of Dorian, those will become your mid-level goals. Okay? Those 3 to 5 things will be those mid-level goals, and they will not change until you accomplish them. Okay? So those mid-level goals might be, I want to flip 20 houses, or I want to get 5 rentals, or I want to get a piece of property, I want to get a small self-storage unit, or they might be the things that when you accomplish them, you would consider yourself supporting and succeeding in it ultimately being a successful real estate investor. Okay? So we're talking about that top level goal is what we call a lag measure. You don't really know it until it's happened. I want to be a successful real estate investor. Well, once you get there, you'll realize you got there. The other 3 goals are also lag measures. I want to flip 5 out or own 5 rentals. You won't know whether you accomplish that until you get to 5 rentals, right? Those are all lag measures, but they're important mid-level goals that support your ultimate goal. And then the bottom goals there are what we call lead measures, okay? Lag measures lag behind, lead measures you lead with. These are the things you have control over. These are the things that you're able to drive.